Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bowen. I'm a registered dietitian, wife, and mom. I love cooking nutrient-rich foods and making the process of cooking nutrient-rich foods as simple as possible so that I can help and teach other busy people to do the same for their family. Today I'll be talking about the benefits of beef heart, processing beef heart for cooking, and then showing you how to make a recipe using ground beef heart. There's going to be a lot of information in this video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am starting the process of caramelizing some onions. I feel that that is a key ingredient to this recipe. Caramelized onions have a sweet flavor from the natural sugars that are in onions. It brings out all of that flavor, and it's a really great addition to the meatball recipe we're going to be cooking in the video. This process takes a while, so I just wanted to explain that, and while these onions are cooking, I am going to talk about why are we bothering to process a beef heart and eat it. Let's talk about the benefits. So if you look at ancestral wisdom, ancestral nutrition, and look at what people have eaten over the course of evolution, organ meats were always prized in traditional cultures because they have such a high concentration of nutrients. Organ meats all contain good amounts of fat-soluble vitamins A and D in readily available forms. They all usually contain a variety of B vitamins and other beneficial minerals like selenium and zinc. Different organs can have slight variations of those nutrients, but that's the general census, is that organ meats have high concentrations of those types of vitamins. Another really important nutrient that organ meats have is choline. And choline plays a huge role in our body. It is so important. Choline is primarily found in animal foods, at least in higher concentrations. Choline has a huge role in the metabolism, and it also is involved with neurotransmitter synthesis in the body. Heart is unique because it has the compound CoQ10, so it is a natural source of CoQ10, and it also has a lot of collagen in it. So now we will begin processing the heart, getting it ready to actually put into the recipe. There is a lot of hard fat, tendons that need to be removed in order to make it taste okay. Otherwise, it's very chewy, so all of this white stuff has to come off. Now, this heart is not very processed. Some butchers and places where you get heart, it's a lot more ready to go. I get this beef heart for like $3, so it's not expensive at all. You just have to put more time into it. So you can find them smaller and already more processed, but that's not always the case. So all I'm doing is removing all of this white stuff from the outside, and it's very tough, so it can take a little bit of time. You just want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife to work with. So I've got one big chunk of the heart just about done, and I am going to start cubing it up and getting it ready to grind. So I'm not a butcher. We are grinding the heart up, so we're not trying to fillet it or make steaks out of it. That takes a little more skill and time to master. I just want to get it into manageable chunks for grinding. If you don't have a grinder, you could finely dice it up and then mix it in that way. I have not tried just dicing it up, but I do think that it would work fine in this recipe. Okay, so the heart is all cubed up, and once it's all cubed up, you can tell it really just looks like very lean steak. So the next step is to grind it for the meatballs. Now it's time to start combining all the ingredients for the meatballs. I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 ground up beef heart, and I am adding 1 caramelized onion. Organ meats are, even from high quality sources like local farmers, organ meats are usually very inexpensive. So they are a great way to stretch your more expensive cuts of meat and ground beef. Now I am adding in some coconut aminos. I do about 1 tablespoon. I do about 1 tablespoon of the sauce. I'm so sorry, I cannot say the word. If you prefer not to use the sauce, you can just double the coconut aminos, and that will give you flavor that way. Now I'm adding in some ground pepper and a little bit of salt. Lastly, I'm adding in the binder, which is 2 cups of crushed pork rinds. I also added in 2 eggs. They are just hidden below the meat. For a full written recipe that you can print and have for your kitchen is on my blog. I will leave a link in the description box below. Once everything is well combined, all you have to do is form meatballs. I just use my hands. You can put them pretty close together on your baking sheet because they don't really spread out or anything like that. I like to use parchment paper just to help with the cleanup process. I also recommend using a rimmed baking sheet because they will release some juices during the baking process. The meatballs are now headed into a 375 degrees Fahrenheit oven and will cook for about 15 minutes, but I do test with a thermometer just to make sure they're done. Quick temperature check. Looking for 165 degrees in the center. I always do this away from the oven. It's just to get a more accurate temperature. Now that the meatballs are relatively cool, I'm placing them back on my cookie sheet and I'm actually putting them in the freezer. So if you're gonna freeze them, it works best to freeze them individually and then freeze them in a bag. These freeze really well and make a nice quick dinner. I normally like to serve these meatballs with either spaghetti squash and maybe some fresh sourdough dinner rolls, or I'll do just regular pasta, some marinara sauce. We just use them as we would any kind of meatball. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed it. If you're new here and you want to see more, please subscribe. Your support means everything. From my kitchen to yours, I wish you the best of health for years to come.